fuck do you just get over shit so fast? And I'm like, well, dude, because I don't have time to hold on to this baby. I don't want to bring it into any further than it needs to be. Like, this is just a moment. What up, everybody? It is your boy Johnny with my lovely fiance, soon-to-be wife Lisa.
What's up,
and you
guys?
Are back in tune with another episode of In the Fields podcast, man. And
number 9.
Number 9. Oh my God, I
crazy.
almost lost count because we just been killing it. You know what I'm saying? But no, man, that's dope that we're here. And yeah, man, obviously I'm happy to be here with you as always. And to all the feelers tuned in, you already know the vibes, man.
I love that. The feelers.
Yeah, I've been hashtagging that on every post on purpose because it's going to go viral. That's going to be, I think that's the name. That's going to be the name of the fan club. That's the unofficial announcement, guys. But yeah,
you heard it here first.
This episode, I think we're going to take a deep dive into forgiveness. You know what I mean? The gift that you can not only give to other people, but to yourself, you know?
Definitely
I think that's
yourself.
A big one. I'd like to start this episode with a new segment that we announced that we were planning on doing, which is the AA meetings or the anonymous advice meetings, where one of the feelers will send in a situation that they're maybe dealing with that they want some advice with, and me and my, soon-to-be wife, beautiful co-host, we can offer our insight on it, guys, and we can try to, give you guys some sort of guidance or, our advice on it, so that this way, you guys can get a second set of eyes on it. But also, like we always say at the end of every episode, you never know when the why in your story is silent. So you never know when you're going through something that either me or my wife have gone through, or one of the other feelers in our community, man. So the best way to figure it out is through sharing. And let me pull that up really quick.
It'll be completely anonymous. It's just so, like we said, we want you guys to feel seen, heard, understood. It's a way for you guys all to connect and relate with one another. So I like this. I like this idea. This segment's going to be dope.
Heck yeah, man. Well, from one of our followers on our social media, they submitted a scenario, and here it is. It is my older sister has always been the golden child of the family. She's successful, outgoing, and always seems to get what she wants. Growing up, she often made me feel inadequate and overlooked. Recently, she made a comment that really hurt my feelings, bringing up a past insecurity in front of a group of friends. Now, I know I should forgive her, but I'm struggling. Any advice? I'll let you take the reins on this one.
Yeah, that's tricky. Like, for me, it's hard because, like, I grew up an only child, and I know, like, that sibling thing just hits different, because you're family, and they say you can't pick your family, which is true, but at the same time, people are more reluctant to want to forgive their family over just like a friend or their spouse or something like that, because they feel that necessary tie of like, well, that's my family, that's blood.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, like, if you're struggling to forgive them, it's something within yourself, and that's just like a good sign and indicator that like it's necessary for you to forgive for yourself, not necessarily for them, because they're clearly not looking for forgiveness because they're not even addressing the situation. For all you know, they might not even feel like they did anything wrong. Like, that's something maybe you do need to address and have one of those tough conversations like, hey, what you did really did hurt my feelings, and this is why.
Yeah.
Leave that door open for them to either show that they could hold accountability and apologize appropriately, or show you that, like, maybe they really don't care. And at that point, it gives you more of a availability and option to be like, okay, well, I know now where they stand. So now I need to either choose to be forgiving because they were able to acknowledge it, they were able to take accountability and apologize, or they weren't, and you need to be able to just, well, for myself, for my own mental well-being, I need to figure out a way of how I could forgive them without necessarily having that conversation of like, oh, hey, I forgive you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. There's like two sides to that coin. So it's like you either have that tough conversation or you forgive them in silence for your own mental well-being. Like, don't hold on to that. It doesn't serve you any good. You know what I mean? Because they made that choice to go ahead and put you in a position where you felt some type of pain from that situation.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And just to pick up on where you said, like, a lot of people do feel like they have to forgive their family because they're family. So, like, you feel like, oh, well, that's, that's my sister or that's my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because respect is respect.
Yeah, and yeah, respect is respect. It's, you got to give it to get it, baby. That's just what it is. And I think a big one, too, is like, just because we're family doesn't necessarily mean like you automatically are entitled to this infinite amount of get out of jail free cards. Like at the end of the day, at the end of the day, once, like you said, like respect is respect. So if you're gonna disrespect me in front of people or you're gonna do something to like belittle me, like once again, you're my family. If anything, I hold you to a higher pedestal on some like, yo, if you should be lifting anybody up, it's somebody who's already in your village, somebody who you quote unquote love, right? We're related, right? But yeah, I think in this situation, like you said, there's a tough conversation that either needs to be had, which is, you know, you should be able to pull your sister aside or your sibling aside and say, hey, listen, I'm not trying to call you out in front of everybody. I'm not trying to tit for tat because I don't like to play those games. But I feel like what happened there, like that wasn't cool. Like that really fucked me up.
Yeah.
And I just want to address that, set the boundary so this way we know, like, yo, we don't have to let that happen again. You know what I mean? Because I know if the roles were reversed, I'm sure you would feel some type of way. And that's another thing, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be necessarily an uncomfortable conversation. It could always be constructive as well. So, yeah, it's either the tough conversation needs to be had, but if it's something that you know is like beating a dead horse, because some people you just can't talk to, then I think, the next thing is to silently forgive, right? Because forgiveness doesn't always equal reconciliation. So it's like, just because I forgive you don't mean I gotta fuck with you.
Yeah. I don't trust you anymore, whatever the case is.
Yeah, I could let it go. I don't gotta bring the extra baggage with me, right? But
yeah,
just because I forgive you doesn't mean I have to be cool with you anymore.
Yeah, that's the important takeaway, though. It's like not everybody deserves forgiveness, especially when it comes to certain things. But I think the important takeaway is that, like, what I mean by that is like me sitting here and being like, I forgive you. Not everybody deserves that.
Yeah.
There is a way to silently forgive somebody without having to address it with that person. When you silently forgive, it's for your own mental well-being. It's for you to let go. It's for you to heal from that situation, move forward, move on, and just kind of let that go in your past. Because if you hold on to it and you don't forgive it for yourself, it's going to follow you and it's going to eat you away and it's going to cause triggers and it's going to cause issues for you mentally. So like it's really important for you to be able to forgive those situations, even if it's not necessarily directly aimed at somebody or spoken to somebody.
Yeah, like you said, like sometimes forgiveness is for yourself. It's not even for the other person a lot of the time. It's so that we can let go of that extra baggage we're carrying. Because like you said, it's costly. And like that's just life, guys. Like y'all know, like if you are carrying extra luggage, if you're carrying extra luggage in your suitcase, the suitcase becomes too heavy. You know you're just going to pay extra for that while you're traveling, right? Like what's the point of going somewhere sunny if you bringing all these sweaters and hoodies with you? You don't need to be bringing that. And when you bring it with you, it costs more money, bro. When the baggage becomes too heavy, you end up paying for it. It becomes costly. So, but like you said, that's something that you can't carry with you because when you do, it can weigh a lot on you, and it ends up, you end up paying for it, not necessarily monetarily, but with
in the long run,
your peace. It ends up costing you your peace. And I'm sorry, if this shit costs you your peace, it's too expensive. If it costs you your peace, you living outside of your means. If it costs you your peace, baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's the best advice we got for you. I like this. I like the AA meetings.
Yeah, I do
like
too.
These. I think these are dope, guys. Make sure you guys hit the inboxes on socials.
It's a judgment-free zone. We're not here to judge you or question you.
We're here to strengthen the community, guys. Like I say, we say this at the end of every episode. You never know when the why, and your story is silent, and it's our story. Like, there's other people who go through this. I'm a guy who's grown up with 3 siblings, so, it's not necessarily a a far off situation that either me or one of my siblings have probably been through. And I'm sure even people with just friends have been through similar situations because,
Yeah.
you know,
We talked about that in
run,
episode 2.
I've run into people who just don't know how to act or act funny in front of other people. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I cut a lot of homies off because they be the type to do stuff like that in front of, like, you know, especially females. You know what I'm saying? You get dudes who like be trying to one up you, or like, you know, they try and put you down and make themselves look good. Like, bro, that's a regular situation. I think a lot of people deal with that though.
That's life though.
Yeah.
You're gonna come across plenty of people who put you in positions that you don't feel okay in.
Facts.
And it's up to you realistically of like how you maneuver through that situation, because you can't control what other people do, what other people say. All you can control is how you react and how you move on or handle that said situation.
And I'm made of rubber. Yeah, man, that was dope. But
yeah, I like that.
Well, before we get into the rest of the episode, guys, here's a word from our sponsors. Introducing Ooh La Lade, the only drink sponsor of In the Fields podcast. Today, we've got some brand new stuff. These are the premium flavor bottles with the highest quality fruits in existence. I'm pretty sure he traveled to an alternate universe to collect these because it's out of this world. This is the passion dragon fruit, but not just the regular dragon fruit. I mean, look at that beautiful purple color.
It
Wowzers.
smells amazing.
I mean, does it for real?
Yeah.
Damn.
I didn't try it yet. I'm waiting for you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's get into it, guys. Let me see. Passion dragon fruit. You already know what it is. Premium flavors. Let's get it. Oh, shit. That smells delicious.
That's different.
Holy shit.
I don't even know how to describe this flavor.
Wowzers. Yeah, this is amazing. Ooh La Lade, 100% natural, handcrafted lemonades.
He never misses.
Yeah, it doesn't miss, bro. This, I've said it once before. I think I'm going to say it again. This slaps like Will Smith.
The gas of all gas.
It is this is so gas. I'm pretty sure I could operate a vehicle with this because of how gas it is. Nah, bro, this shit is so good. Shout out to La Shells, the creator, the CEO, the man himself with the hands blessed of a deity, because this is godly. This lemonade is delicious. You can get it all over the 610. There's a bunch of stores that sell it. Make sure you guys tune in.
Appreciate you always, homie.
We appreciate you guys. The only drink sponsor of In the Fields podcast. If you're not drinking this lemonade, you're drinking dog water or whatever it is. It's not. It's
whatever that is not this.
It's caca poo poo pee pee. Okay. Yeah, man. And back to the episode. And we are back, guys. Like I said, this episode, we're going to take a deep dive into forgiveness and just stressing how important it can be to one's mental well-being, right? A lot of the time, I feel like as people, we tend to bear unnecessary weight from our past.
For sure.
You know, people are going to make mistakes, man, whether it's yourself or other people. So letting go of that is super important. And how would you, if you were going to give advice to somebody, like how would you help them navigate that road of forgiveness? What is something that they can do to like maybe sharpen that tool? Because that essentially it's what it is. It's like a skill or like a tool. It's like something you have to work on.
I was going to say the same thing. It is a skill, essentially, like in my personal opinion. And I say that because learning forgiveness in my own like healing journey was one of the hardest things for me to do. And I think what helped me take that step was really evaluating like, okay, what do I feel like my triggers are? Where do I feel like my triggers are stemming from? And like trying to really put in the work and narrowing it down of like, okay, well, this person contributed to like XYZ. This person did this. This person did that. Are these people that are still in my life? Can I have conversations with them? If not, okay, well, what are the steps that I need to take, or how can I maneuver going about like forgiving them for myself? Like it's a process, and it's like process of elimination of like seeing what is the best case scenario for you So it's like narrowing it down and really looking inward and being like, okay, well, like I need to do this for myself, and just acknowledging that and being aware of that is probably one of the first steps that need to be had. Like you have to acknowledge that you're holding on to so much that you don't need to hold on to.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that would be the step number one, is just really looking inward and just really embracing what it is that you feel is holding you back or weighing you down.
Yeah, and I think a big thing that holds a lot of people back too from forgiving people is a lot of the time we think it's for them. Like we associate forgiveness with something that we're giving to them, which yes, in a sense, you could be giving them, let's say, a peace of mind, because let's say they did some fuck shit and like, maybe they're stressing about it or whatever. In that sense, yes, forgiving them brings them to a point, obviously you got to want to be forgiven or forgiven. Like you have to have some sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like you got to feel bad. You have to feel
Guilt.
yeah, you got to feel like a guilty.
Shame.
Yeah, like guilty, or you got to be remorseful. That's what it is. You have to feel remorse to like want forgiveness. So like somebody who's feeling remorseful, that forgiveness, giving them that could offer them peace of mind.
Yeah, but in those situations, that's somebody that could potentially deserve to be forgiven,
right,
because they are taking accountability. They are showing that they are sorry for whatever it is that they did. They may be putting in the work and the effort to be like, hey, I really am sorry. I didn't mean for that. But there's a lot of people that don't know how to do that. A lot of people will be like, I didn't do that.
right.
Or like, you shouldn't be upset. Like that, it's not that big of a deal. And they try to like brush off your feelings as if they're nothing.
Right.
That's when it's a problem.
And that's what I was going to say. Like, there are obviously situations where forgiveness is something you're giving somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like they're receiving it because they want it. But then there's often times like we have to remember that it's not just for that person. Like you said, we hold on to things, and forgiveness is, it's almost like a two-way street. Like as much as it could be, relieving for the other party, it's also a way for us to not hold on to resentment and not hold on to that pain. Like we're keeping a wound open essentially by not,
because you're not addressing
coming to terms with the situation, right? Like we have to be able to say like, yo, I forgive you. I understand that we're not all perfect. And I said earlier, forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Like,
not always.
you know what I mean? That is something that is another something you have to determine. Like, does this person still deserve to have me in their life? Like, that's a whole nother question that comes after forgiveness, like in my eyes.
Where do you move forward from
there?
there?
That's the moving forward phase. But forgiveness itself, that's something that, it really is emotionally and mentally freeing when you get to that point
it's like a
of
key.
letting go. Yeah, you're just letting go of the shackles. Like you're unlocking the shackles, the weight, the pain, like you're letting it go. Like that's what forgiveness comes with. But a lot of the time we don't forgive because we often think that we're doing it for them, so they don't deserve it. So instead we just stay mad or like stay upset. And I'm like, yo, bro.
I've done that for a really long time.
Oh, I know, he, she, it, we, wumbo. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's a fact. Like, we've done that. Shit, there's times where even sometimes we just get into conversations and, like, we can just feel it still kind of like,
there.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to just,
I'm
gonna just move on from that. You know what I mean? Like, Like, that just, it happens, bro. So, yeah, no, forgiveness. And once again, guys, like my wife said, it's a skill. It's something that you're going to need to put into practice, and you're not going to be good at it at first. It's not going to be easy.
It's going to hurt.
That's life, though. That's
It'll be
everything.
Painful.
Trust me. If you think for a second that everybody picked up something and they were immediately good at it right away when they did it, you're sadly mistaken, bro. You're going to suck at something before you get good at it. Curry's missed probably tens of thousands of shots, but, he got to where he is by doing that. So
being forgiving definitely equals obtaining some type of freedom mentally for yourself. Like that's a really big thing, because I know from experience of learning how to forgive certain people that I definitely 100% feel they didn't deserve it. But the second that I learned how to forgive them, like, I am so much more clear-headed. I don't feel like a giant weight is on my back. I'm not as bothered by certain things. Like, it does come with so many benefits of your mental health. And I feel like once people start practicing and, like, realizing that once you figure it out, it is very easy to do. It's just, it's such a beautiful feeling because you literally feel free from within yourself.
Yeah, and I think you get to a point too where I'm at that point. I feel where sometimes people will do something shitty.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just be like, it's cool, don't worry about it. I forgive you. I'll be like, listen, I'm a God-fearing man. It's kind of part of the rules. I forgive you. It's cool. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm very meticulous, I guess. Maybe that's not the right word that I'm looking for, but I'm able, I guess. I have the ability now to pick and choose my battles much easier because I'm able to just forgive and move on so much easier. I mean, even when we got together, like, you used to be like, how the fuck do you just get over shit so fast? And I'm like, well, dude, because I don't have time to hold on to this, baby. I don't want to bring it into any further than it needs to be. Like, this is just a moment. That's all it has to be. It's just a moment. We can move on. We're going to spend the rest of our lives together, baby.
But look at that moment, like, I was somebody that wasn't a very forgiving person. Like, I really did hold resentment and all of that, like, negativity towards any of those situations that I've ever experienced, the people that I've experienced. So it's like, in those moments, like, to me, it just didn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, how can you do that? Like, I can't understand or process it in my head of, like, how it's so easy for you. So, like, now on the flip side where, like, I'm over here now I'm like, oh, yeah, like, that's whatever. Like, I'll get over it. So, yeah, it just hits different.
Yeah, man, I think it's just, like we said, it's just an important skill that you guys want to start working on, because holding resentment is not a skill that you want to be good at. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be good at carrying the negative weight. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of people brag about their ability to just shrug it off.
Their strength.
Yeah, like, nah, bro. Yo, bro, I'm telling you, holding on to all that shit is not good either. Mm-hmm. As much as it can develop your ability to be tough and resilient and, you know, your determination to fucking overcome, bro, that shit also comes with a toll. That shit is also very exhausting. It also is a very slippery fucking slope to walk on, you know? So,
because I think people don't realize that, like, when you hold on to stuff like that, the way that your body and your mind works, it creates triggers. So anything that you've experienced that has created some type of, like, fight or flight in your body, like, through your nervous system, all of that plays a part, and it just naturally does what your body's supposed to do, and it creates triggers, and that's a defense mechanism. It's to help avoid.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called trauma, which we'll talk about in another episode.
But yeah, like, that stuff ends up really happening, and it happens subconsciously, so you're not even aware that it's going on. So, like, a lot of the time, you're just maneuvering through life, just giving it your best, saying, you know, this is just who I am, not realizing, like, all these people that contributed to your trauma and your damaging effects, like, you're carrying that with you through life. Like,
I literally hate that saying. That's just who I am. Mm-hmm. That's just who I am.
And I was
That's
somebody.
That's just how I am. You're just going to have to deal with it. No, I don't have to deal with you being an asshole or a piece of shit. I don't. We could learn to be better, always. You know, there's nobody that's perfect. And
because don't get me wrong, I was definitely somebody who, like, just was not very self-aware of those things. And I was somebody who was just like, well, it's just who I am. Like, I'm just a very emotional person. Like, I don't know how to handle it.
I also think, too, when you come from a past where people don't pour into you or tell you that you're capable, that's a big one, right? Like, I feel like I feel like for you, it wasn't so much that's just who I am versus it
Mhm.
was kind of like I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. Like yes, there was a time in our relationship where it kind of felt like you were stuck in your ways, but it wasn't on some like, well, that's just who I am. You're just gonna have to handle it. Like, no, I don't have to handle shit. Let's
Yeah.
start there. No man wants to handle anything that has to do. And I
Yeah.
don't want. If I have to handle it, I don't want it. So it wasn't. You weren't on some shit like that. It was very much like, yo, I don't know what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? Like in a sense, like, yo, I'm kind of blindly walking through this shit. Like I want to get there,
I just
but
have
I don't
no
know how the
idea.
fuck to get there.
Yeah.
But it was your willingness and your drive. Like you wanted to do that. As much as I
Mhm.
could have sit here and be like, well, look, she's only doing it because I fucking. As much as I could sit here and try to give myself credit, I would. Honestly, you wanted to be better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the reason why I didn't. What's up, buddy?
Hi,
Look, guys, say
potato.
what's up to Thor. Don't worry, we'll do an episode about catnip. Anyway, you gonna hop up there with mom? Go for it. Oh, he's waiting. There he is.
Um,
But yeah, your willingness to want to be better, you know what I mean? It made it easy to forgive you in a
yeah.
sense because you weren't being on some like, this is just me. You're gonna take it or leave it.
Yeah.
You were very like, yo, in a sense, thankful for those moments that you were able to make mistakes and still garner forgiveness. You know what I mean? Like you're like, yo, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be better. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Whenever I've made mistakes, like I've always been so thankful for like those moments you've forgiven me because I always say like, yo, thank you for giving me the opportunity to be better.
Yeah.
People have given up on us and
Yeah.
didn't allow us to flourish or really learn through these mistakes. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, that's a huge one. But hey, man, let's get into our questions. Thor's going to join us for question time. And then, yeah, man, we'll bring him home. What do you got? You want to go first this time?
Yeah, I
Since
can.
Thor, you go first. You got Thor on your lap. You go first this time.
I can't with this cat.
He's a freaking... You're a pain in the ass.
All right. Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So for my first question, what does forgiveness truly mean to you? Is it forgetting, reconciliation, or something else entirely? Like, what does it mean for you?
For me, forgiveness, it's not so much that it has a meaning, but an ability. Forgiveness to me is the ability to not allow negativity to weigh you down.
Mm.
Because oftentimes, like I've said before, we always think forgiveness is for the other person. Bro, sometimes that shit's for me.
Yeah.
I forgive you in the sense that I'm not gonna hold on to whatever it is you did and allow it to cause triggers, trauma, and all these and basically make me walk through life like as if I'm walking through a fucking minefield. I forgive you because I'm not putting that mine into my life's field. The grass I'm trying to grow here, baby, is supposed to be green. I don't need to put bombs in it. I don't need triggers. I don't need none of that shit.
Yeah.
So when I forgive you, it's like me like rebuking the fucking I'm like get the fucking landmines the fuck away from me. I don't want to live like that, bro.
Yeah.
So a lot of it, like I said, for me, it's the ability to just let go of the negativity that oftentimes holds us back or stops us from doing cool shit. You know what I mean? Or stops us
Yeah.
from experiencing life because we decided to create this fucking wall of fear that now we're so reluctant to cross. And a lot of the times, the best shit in life lives on the other side of that fear.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want you to create that for me. And I'm not going to let you, so I forgive you.
Yeah, I like that. And I think one of the biggest things to take away is like, yeah, we're talking about like forgiving other people. But I think one thing people don't realize or don't even think about is learning how to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Like
You should be
forgiving
grateful
yourself.
for everything you've done. That's made you who you are today.
Because like I've said so many times, nobody's perfect, including you. Like yourself, you have to just acknowledge like, hey, I'm not perfect. I have made mistakes. And my mistakes have led me to this or have led me to that, or it's caused this or caused that. And you hold a lot of resentment then for yourself as well. And that also just isn't a healthy place to be. Like, you have to be like, hey, I've made these mistakes, and it's not necessarily about forgetting, but like you said, like letting go and moving on, and just like honing in on that and acknowledging, like, yeah, I might not have been perfect, but hey, I learned from it. I know not to do that again. So like, I should forgive myself from doing that, because things like that happen.
Yeah, and like you said, like with forgiving yourself, it just gives you that different lens, right? Like you almost, in a sense, with the ability of being able to forgive yourself, you don't look at your past mistakes as if they were done in vain. In a sense, you start looking at those mistakes as, yeah, those might have been losses, but I learned from them. So I turned the losses into lessons. But the only way you're able to do that is through forgiving yourself. Because if you hold resentment or you're constantly blaming yourself, then those mistakes, they end up feeling like blemishes on your record versus like something that you learned from or something that taught you something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
your past don't define you.
Hell yeah, man. I like that question. That was good.
Thanks.
Okay, so
Dude.
it's similar to what you said about like on that last question, but my next question is, have you ever struggled to forgive yourself? And what was that experience like?
I wouldn't say necessarily that I struggled to forgive myself. I just didn't know how to for a really long time. Like, it's not even something I ever thought of doing, or that was something that I could even do. You know what I mean? I definitely held resentment against myself for a really long time for making a lot of poor decisions, for following in, people's footsteps that I necessarily didn't want to, but I caught myself doing it. I've definitely made poor decisions growing up because of the lack of, like, what is the word I'm looking for? Like, I didn't have the proper upbringing, so I wasn't taught a lot
the
of
proper
things.
Examples. Or
Yeah,
like the
so
proper like precedents, like the people before you. To
so
set
like
the,
I
pave the
feel
way.
like for example, like I've just made a lot of mistakes because I didn't have those examples. So I learned through just fucking up. Like maybe not always being the best of friend myself, or not always being the best partner, or just not doing well in school, or making poor decisions, or going against authority. Like, I've done a lot that I've put myself in dangerous situations. I've put myself in horrible situations with other people. That girl is
so dangerous.
Like,
sorry, my bad. I don't know why
you know what I mean?
just came to my brain. I just showed my age so fucking hard right now.
Oh boy. So I think for me, I just held a lot of resentment because I like look back and I was so ashamed and so embarrassed of like what my past was.
Sorry, my son's in the background, guys. What's up? You good? Yeah. Okay.
All right. Oh, okay, there he goes.
Oh, your person's here, Thor. Don't mind us, guys. Our kids are walking around. Cat found my daughter. He's happy now. He's like, yeah, mama, that was cool. I wanted to be on camera for a little bit, but Sissy's here.
But yeah, like I held a lot of resentment for myself because I just was so ashamed and so embarrassed of decisions that I've made throughout life. But it took me to realize that, like, hey, you didn't have all these tools to use. You can't be mad at yourself or hate yourself forever because you made these decisions. You've lived, you've made it through, and now you're over here. What I need to do is accept that and be like, you know what? I forgive myself because I know it wasn't necessarily my fault. I just didn't know any better. And now I do have the tools. Now I do have the resources. Now I have done the healing. I have done this. I have done that. Like now I have what I need to be that better person that I've always wanted to be. And I can, and I have to believe that. So that's what it was for me. You know what I mean? Like it was a very challenging thing for me to learn and figure out. But once I like figured it out, it wasn't that hard. Yeah. Like it was just putting it into practice and just staying consistent with it.
Keep it going. Yeah, consistency is key. You know what I mean? That's how you sharpen, iron sharpens iron. So it's like that consistency is like, that's the only way to really make the skill a skill that you're good at.
Yeah.
I like that, man. That was a good answer.
Thanks.
What's up? What you got for me?
Okay. All right. What are some of the biggest hurdles or challenges that you've faced when trying to forgive someone?
Bro, I think the biggest hurdle, and and maybe I don't know if this is just like a guy thing, but like maybe you could relate to this. I think the biggest hurdle with forgiveness, bro, is not feeling like I'm being pussy. Like, bro, a lot of the time, bro, I feel like letting shit slide, right? Like a lot of dudes don't be, nah, bro, I ain't letting nothing slide. You know what I'm saying? Like that mentality of being like, nah, bro, you ain't getting one up on me. And it like they're willing to risk it. Like to risk it all for what, bro? Bro, it's way easier to forgive. You be much better off, bro. Just let it rock, bro. Like oftentimes taking the high road, it just feels so much like being a bitch. And I think that was the hardest thing that I struggle with is like, and I don't know if that's just a guy thing, but or like, you know, like oftentimes letting shit slide, that shit's hard, bro.
So I think it depends on the situation. Like, I don't necessarily think it's just a guy thing, because you know me and you know of the kind of person I was in my past. Like, I wasn't one to really let things slide often. I'm very big with my mouth and like
Pause. Well, not pause.
I clap back. Like I used to always clap back. Like that was just who I was. You know what I mean? But I hated that version of myself.
Yeah, because that version of you is what? You letting anger take over you every for nothing. It's not even a it's not even a short fuse. It's a switch. You're just like a button. Boom.
0 to 100.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
So yeah, that for me, I think that was the biggest hurdle when it came to learning how to use the ability of forgiveness.
It's so much more peaceful.
It was so hard because once again, I felt like it was something I was doing for them. And a lot of time we feel like that. So when it feels like you're giving them something, like, oh, you did me wrong and now I'm giving this to you.
I'm just supposed to forgive you.
Yeah. So versus the perspective of, yo, whatever. If that's what you want to do, say less. That's how much it's gonna cost me to know I don't have to deal with you no more.
I like being on this side of things way better.
Yeah, it's just, bro, I'm all about trying to protect what I got going on.
Protecting my peace.
Yeah, I'm trying to protect what I got going on. So, yeah, that was the hardest thing to learn with forgiveness is knowing when to let shit rock, bro. Sometimes some shit is not worth
maintaining your own emotions.
You got to look around and really compare your life to that situation. Like, is everything I got going on around me really worth this right now? And oftentimes it's not, but you know, that's the difficulty. That was the hardest thing. That was the biggest hurdle. Yeah. Was being able to forgive and also not turn into a shitty person after. A lot of times, like, people go through shitty shit and then they're like, well, now I'm a changed person. Like, no, you don't have to be, bro.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah. Real lies. Ah. My bad.
Throwback. AOL be right back message.
Wow. Nobody even knows what AOL is anymore. Stop it, grandma.
Yeah, that was crazy.
No, that was a good question. That was a good one. All right, I got another one for you here. All right, so in a world filled with conflict, how can we cultivate a culture of forgiveness?
Just doing it. Just that's as simple as like I can get. Like we could sit here,
fucking do it.
We could sit here and question all the time, and so we're blue in the face. Well, what if I do? What if I don't? Well, what if this, that, or the third? Like, but what if? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, do it for you. Don't worry about you, the next person, that person. Just do it for yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what matters, is what you do to better yourself, right? So that's as simple as you're getting from me, because
I mean, that's it, baby. That's it. That's as cut and dry as it gets, man. I like that. I like that answer. That was good.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's like...
It should be that simple.
Yeah, like... It's hard, and I know it's hard.
Fucking do it. Sorry.
But, like, I was somebody who just really was such a negative, depressed person that I really did not see the other side of things. So for me, being on the other side of things now, when I look back, I'm like, bro, I could have done this like years ago. Like, what took me so long? Why'd I wait so long? You know what I mean? And
Being surrounded by people who pull you in the wrong direction,
it's
man.
hard.
That'll do that, you know?
Change your surroundings, change your support group, do something that brings you joy, find a hobby, like do anything that like gets you out of your typical routine with the same typical people and just figure it out. But you're not going to get anywhere if you stay stuck and you stay stagnant and you don't see anything wrong with what's going on in your life or what's going on around you. You're never going to learn these things if you stay stuck.
I like that. All right, you got one more for me? I got one more for you, and we'll take them home.
All right, so what role does empathy play in the process of forgiveness? Can we truly forgive without understanding the other person's perspective?
I think empathy plays a role in forgiveness only when the other party is remorseful, right? I can't feel bad for you if you don't feel like you did something wrong.
Yeah, if you don't care.
Because now you're just oblivious, and that's fine, especially if I bring it to your attention. If I bring it to your attention and you're on some, like, I mean, it is what it is shit, then I don't know if I, like, at that point, I don't, what am I being empathetic about then? Like, I'm supposed to be like, oh, you're just a blind little baby. Like, no, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Like, no, you're oblivious. You clearly weren't raised with any form of remorse, or you don't feel bad. You think that's okay. You think that's okay to treat people that way. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Granted, I can make the choice if I feel like I should be the person that, you know, takes on the responsibility to communicate that. Like, should I bear the weight of the responsibility to make you aware of yourself and how that's not okay? Like, nah, clearly you've been getting through your whole life like that. So that's cool. The choice I can make, the decision I can make is whether or not I want to be around that. And that's all I really can control. Like you said earlier, like focus on the things you can control. Like, I don't have control, especially if you're an adult. I don't have control over the way you view life or what you, that's you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you're not my child. Like, my children, that's a complete different story. You know what I mean? But it's like, I can't be empathetic if you're not remorseful. So that's, empathy can play a role into it. Because, of course, if you're remorseful, then that, my willingness to understand your perspective of maybe why you did what you did. Because then if you're remorseful, you feel bad. Then that means that there was a thought that happened that triggered your action. And let's revisit that, because once again, you could be dealing with something, or you could be going through something. And that's where, as long as you're remorseful, then my empathy comes in, my willingness to understand your perspective, thus resulting in forgiveness and resolution. You know what I mean? So I just think that they all play a certain piece down the path. Mm-hmm. But I think it really starts back from like, do you feel bad for what you did? Because I'm going to make you aware of what you did, and I'm going to tell you, like, it was wrong to me, but do you feel bad? Because then if you feel bad, then okay, then now I feel bad, because I'm like, okay, this is where the empathy kicks in, and then so on and so forth. But, yeah, I think you can truly forgive without necessarily having to understand them, too, because, like I said earlier, forgiveness doesn't necessarily come with reconciliation, like, I don't have to do it for you, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I like that question. Thanks. All right, I got one more for you, and then we'll bring him home. Okay. Simple. How can we teach children the importance of forgiveness?
That's tricky. Because kids, they don't really understand things the way that we do. But all we can do, I think it's important to focus first on their emotional intelligence. Because when they're aware of how they're feeling emotionally, they can make better, more sound decisions of how to maneuver that situation. So if they truly do feel hurt by something, teaching them all these skills with communicating and knowing their emotions and understanding their emotions and being able to talk about them. Like, you need to be able to have all of that in order to properly forgive or even decide whether or not you want to forgive, because it's a personal choice, like, depending on what actually happened and how much it affected you. So I feel like teaching them all of those skills first is, like, obviously necessary, because but it's also important for them to understand, like, when something, because there's certain situations that I think could really affect them that they might not even understand of how to forgive somebody for that. Like, especially like forgiving for themselves. Like, that's something that is really hard to learn, like, even as an adult. Like, how do you teach a
Yeah, and I mean,
kid?
oftentimes you're telling your kid, like, make sure you apologize. Like, to them, it almost seems like it's just something you're supposed to do, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I get that. Like, they don't understand the depth of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think for them, it's just, like I said in the parenting, open communication is very important. Like, obviously, with certain dialogue, depending on the age and stuff like that, but just being open as much as you can, like, without doing too much, is important, because it helps them develop and build those skills of, being open and honest, not trying to sugarcoat or hide things, understanding how they're feeling, being able to express how they're feeling, having tough conversations, because we are quick to be like, yo, make sure you say you're sorry. Like, that's the easy part to teach them, right? Like, how to apologize and be, remorseful, and like those like being on that side, we teach them very, very early, very easy. It's very simple of, hey, make sure you say you're sorry, that wasn't right. Like, teaching them the right from wrong. But like forgiving, it's hard. You know what I mean? Because kids, they feel pain a little differently than we do, because we have experienced so much. Like, we are more aware of, like,
Yeah,
that,
their level of resilience isn't as, it's not there.
yeah, like, I know that hurt me, but like, it's whatever, I'll get over it. For kids, like, sometimes certain situations, it's not easy for them to get over. It's not easy for them to forgive. And like, I highly encourage therapy for kids. You know what I mean? Like, especially early on, because especially when they leave the house and they're older and they're with friends and they're in school, we're not with them 24/7 anymore.
Yeah.
We can't protect them from the world
And
or
even
the
if you're
things
not willing
outside
to
this
do,
house.
and even if you're not willing to do therapy, just willing to create a safe space for your kids to communicate.
Yeah.
That's something that
And
we strive.
talking
That's
to you
something
at
that we
home.
strive to do now. Like, I know, in the earlier stages of parenting, that wasn't on the top of my priority list, right? Because like when you become a parent,
Hard.
well, when you become a parent too, I think your first thing is like, okay, I gotta hustle, I gotta work, I got shit I gotta pay for. You almost don't have time for this portion of the
Especially
stuff.
in today's generation, like, things are expensive. Like, there is not really many opportunity for one parent to work and one parent to stay home with the kids. Like, a
Yeah.
lot of the time we need two incomes to sustain life anymore.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are running into that, which leads your child in daycare's hands, babysitter's hands, your family's hands, and now your kid is picking up all these different
behaviors from all over the place. Yeah.
because everybody just is different with your children. So
Yeah.
it's different from what you're expecting, because now you're not pouring all that energy into them. But I think realistically, it's just continuing to work with them, being open and honest, working on their emotions, making sure they understand the remorseful side, because that does help in understanding of like, well, you were remorseful, that person forgave you. How did it feel for you to be forgiven?
Yeah.
Did it make you feel good that they forgave you?
And I think that's one thing we try to do really well here too, or at least I think so. You know what I mean? Maybe my kids might tell a different story, but I will say that, I know that we try to like at least explain to them or like give them that perspective. Like sometimes, like you said, forgiveness is hard for them to understand, but like sometimes trying to reverse the roles or split, like say, hey, like, what, how would you feel if someone did this to you, right? Or how would you feel if you were in that situation? Or trying to put them in something that's maybe more palpable for their age group. So this way they can develop a deeper understanding. And I know we try to do that. I know the other day you just mentioned, um, how like you and Maya have been having, more open conversation and, being able to talk more and stuff. And I love that for you guys. So, it's really dope. But I think it was a good answer too.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard, but, it's a learning process. We're all figuring it out. Dude, for real? Okay.
Thor's back, guys. Welcome, Thor. No longer on the floor.
Which is so odd because he's not even a lap cat. Like, he never does this He was
listening to us from our trip to Texas. So when we were in Texas, we went to this spot. It was a cat cafe. And it's basically where you can have coffee and boba teas and things and literally just hang out with cats and kittens all day. So, yeah. I think he listened to us because my wife had a cat on her lap named Taz and wouldn't let him go. She wanted to bring him home. And now I'm pretty sure Thor heard us, or he's just a diva and wants to be on camera. But yeah, man, I liked your answer. Well, let's bring him home, man. You guys already know how we finish all of our episodes. We usually do it by leaving you guys with a question that we send you guys home with. So if you guys are watching this video, make sure you guys drop the answers in the comments or if you see these clips on social media. So here it is, guys. What are your thoughts on forgiveness? What are some of the challenges you faced on forgiving others, or what are some challenges that you faced with forgiving others or yourself? Drop it in the comments below if you're watching the videos, either on YouTube or on the socials, because once again, you never know when the why in your story is silent. And yeah, man, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Until next time, man, keep feeling,
keep sharing,
and keep it real within the feels.